What if this is the last video you'll ever need to watch? Not because there's nothing left to learn, but because after this, you might finally understand where all the answers you've been chasing actually live inside you. Stay with me to the end of this video, because something in you is about to wake up. You see, most people spend their entire lives searching for love, for purpose, for peace. They scroll, they read, they pray, they plan. Yet something always feels missing. And maybe, just maybe, it's not because you're broken, but because you've been looking in the wrong direction. Carl Jung once suggested that what we seek externally is often what our soul is quietly asking us to reclaim internally. What if the love you crave is the love you stopped giving yourself? What if the purpose you're chasing is hidden beneath the parts of you you've been running from? Maybe that's why you found this video. Maybe it isn't random. Maybe life brought you here for a reason, to stop running and start remembering. Because Jung's greatest discovery wasn't about psychology. It was about wholeness. He believed the answers to our deepest suffering aren't out there in the world. They're right here, buried beneath the noise, waiting for you to listen. So before you click away, promise yourself one thing, that you'll stay till the very end. Because what you're about to discover might not just change how you think. It might change how you see yourself. Let's begin where all real healing begins, not outside of you, but in the deepest corners of your own mind. Tell me if this sounds familiar. No matter what you achieve, it never feels like enough. You get the job, the house, the relationship, and for a moment you feel full. But then emptiness returns, like a shadow that never leaves. Carl Jung understood this ache deeply. He said that what we call the search for happiness is often the soul's cry for wholeness. We're not chasing success. We're chasing the feeling of being complete again. Think about it. Since childhood, you were told who to be. Be smart. Be nice. Be strong. Don't cry. Don't fail. And slowly, piece by piece, you started trading authenticity for acceptance. You began building a life around what others wanted to see, not what your soul needed to express. But what if all that striving, all that fixing, all that self-improvement is actually keeping you away from the truth? Jung would whisper, you don't need to become more. You need to remember who you already are. You're not lost. You're just disconnected. You've been chasing fragments of yourself through people, achievements, and approval. But deep down, the self, the real you, has been waiting patiently for your return. And here's the secret Jung uncovered. The more you chase happiness outside of yourself, the further you drift from it. Because true peace doesn't come from becoming someone new. It comes from coming home to who you've always been. So, why do we keep feeling incomplete? Why, no matter how far we go, does something inside whisper, there's still more? To answer that, we need to look at the part of us we've spent our whole lives avoiding. The part that hides behind our smiles, our fears, and our perfection. Keep watching. Because what comes next will show you the one thing standing between you and your wholeness. Carl Jung once said, every person carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in conscious life, the darker and denser it is. So let's go there, into the part of you you've been avoiding, the shadow. It's not a monster. It's not evil. It's simply everything you were told not to be. The anger you buried to stay loved. The sadness you hid to appear strong. The jealousy, the shame, the desires, the fears. All the things you thought made you unworthy. When you were hurt, you learned to hide what made others uncomfortable. You smiled when you wanted to cry. You stayed quiet when your truth wanted to speak. And little by little, you started disappearing behind your own mask. But here's the secret Jung discovered. The shadow isn't your enemy. It's your unlived life. It holds not only your pain, but your passion, your creativity, your confidence, your truth. What if those emotions you've been running from are not curses, but clues? What if your anger is asking you to set boundaries? What if your sadness is reminding you to slow down? What if your fear is pointing to something your soul is ready to face? You see, the more you deny your shadow, the more power it gains. It seeps into your relationships, your decisions, your patterns, replaying the same lessons over and over, not to punish you, but to awaken you. You attract the same kind of pain, not because you're broken, but because your unconscious is trying to get your attention. It's whispering, see me, hear me, integrate me. So don't run. Sit with it. Listen. Shadow work isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. And when you start listening to your darkness, something miraculous happens. The fear begins to fade, and the light that was always there starts to shine through. Keep watching, because the next step takes us even deeper, to the place where all wounds truly begin. Every wound has a beginning, and most of them began in childhood. Deep inside you still lives that younger self, the one who felt unseen, unworthy, or not enough. You may have grown up, but that child never disappeared. They still whisper through your emotions, your fears, your relationships, quietly asking to be heard. Carl Jung believed that healing the psyche means reconnecting with that child, the one who felt everything deeply before the world taught you to numb it. Because when that child was hurt, they didn't just feel pain, they made beliefs out of it. I'm not lovable. I have to earn love. It's safer not to speak. Those beliefs didn't just shape your childhood. They built your entire adult life. So pause for a moment. Close your eyes. Imagine meeting that younger you, scared, hopeful, confused. What would you say to them? Would you scold them for not being stronger? Or would you kneel beside them, look into their eyes, and whisper, "It's okay now. You don't have to pretend anymore. You're safe." Because the truth is, you've been trying to protect that child your entire life, by pleasing people, by chasing success, by isolating yourself. But healing doesn't mean protecting the child anymore. It means holding them. It means letting that scared little one finally rest in your arms and know you made it. When you begin to comfort the child within, something shifts. The war inside you starts to quiet. Your adult life stops feeling like a battlefield. You stop surviving and start living. Carl Jung called it the persona, the mask we wear to function in society. But let's be honest, we all wear one, don't we? You might be the strong one, the funny one, the helper, the achiever, the quiet one. Each of these roles has a story behind it. You built it when you were younger, maybe to feel safe, to be accepted, to belong. And Jung would tell you, your persona isn't your lie. It's your survival strategy. It's how you learned to protect yourself from rejection and pain. But here's the catch. What once kept you safe eventually starts to suffocate you. Because when you live behind a mask long enough, you start forgetting what your real face looks like. You start wondering, who am I when I'm not performing? Who am I when I'm not being who others need me to be? That's where so many people get lost, in the performance of life. We get so good at playing our roles that we forget they were never supposed to become our identity. But Jung's work reminds us, authenticity isn't a luxury. It's liberation. You don't have to keep pretending to be strong if you're tired. You don't have to be agreeable if your heart is screaming no. You don't have to keep smiling if it hurts. Maybe healing isn't about becoming your best self. Maybe it's about finally putting down the mask and becoming your real self. Take a breath. Really right now. Because if these words speak to you, your soul is listening. It's ready for what comes next. Because the moment you stop pretending, something profound begins to happen. The psyche starts to heal itself. And when that happens, the unconscious begins to speak, often through something mysterious, something sacred, your dreams. Stay to the end, because this next part might completely change how you see your nights and your inner world. Carl Jung believed dreams are not random. They are the language of the unconscious, messages sent from the deepest parts of your psyche, guiding you toward wholeness. When you dream of being chased, it's not just fear. It's your truth running from something you're not ready to face. When you dream of falling, it's not failure. It's your control slipping away so something new can emerge. And when you dream of death, it's not an ending. It's transformation. A part of you dying so a truer part can be born. The unconscious doesn't punish you. It balances you. It shows you, through symbols and emotion, what your conscious mind refuses to see. So instead of asking, what does this dream mean? Ask, what is this feeling trying to tell me? That's where real insight begins, not in analyzing, but in listening. Your dreams are therapy in disguise. They show you where your soul is trying to grow. Every image, every symbol, every strange scene, it's your psyche whispering, here's the next piece of you waiting to be reclaimed. The more you listen, the more clearly your inner world begins to speak. And this conversation between your conscious self and your unconscious, this is the essence of Jungian healing. Because healing isn't something you do to yourself. It's something you allow to unfold within yourself. So keep watching till the end. Because what comes next is where all these pieces start to come together, where your light and your shadow finally meet. There's a word Jung loved, alchemy. In the outer world, alchemy was the ancient art of turning base metals into gold. But Jung saw it differently. He said the real alchemy happens inside the soul. Alchemy turns metal into gold. But psychological alchemy turns pain into wisdom. Because when you face your shadow, meet your inner child, and drop the mask you've worn for so long, your suffering becomes sacred. It stops being the enemy and becomes the fire that refines you. Every heartbreak you've endured, every failure you thought broke you, every loss that felt unbearable, none of them were punishments. They were processes of transformation. Each one melted away the false layers until something truer, purer, and more radiant could emerge. Jung once wrote, "No tree can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." And that's what the alchemy of the soul is all about. Having the courage to let your roots reach into your own darkness. Because healing isn't about avoiding the fire. It's about walking through it and realizing it was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. So if you're going through pain right now, don't rush to escape it. Stay, breathe, listen, because your pain might be your teacher in disguise. When you stop seeing your wounds as curses and start seeing them as classrooms, that's when real transformation begins. And if this resonates, stay with me. Because in the next moment, we step into Jung's greatest teaching, the final stage of this journey. It's where the gold of the soul is finally formed. It's called individuation. Carl Jung believed the ultimate goal of human life is individuation. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming whole. Individuation means uniting all the parts of you, the shadow and the light, the fear and the courage, the ego and the soul. It's when you stop fighting with yourself and finally sit beside yourself in peace. You stop chasing perfection and start embracing paradox. You realize you can be strong and gentle, broken and beautiful, human and divine all at once. And in that realization, something soft and sacred happens. You come home to yourself. Imagine living a life where you no longer hide from your truth, where you don't need to perform for love or chase approval, where you can simply be and know that you are enough. That's individuation. That's the gold hidden within every one of us. When you reach this place, you don't need to keep searching for another video, another answer, another voice, because you found what you were always looking for, you. So if this journey touched you, don't forget to subscribe, because the next stories we explore will take you even deeper into the mysteries of your soul. And before you leave, stay till the end of this video. Let this final reflection remind you just how close you already are to wholeness. If this truly is the last video you ever need to watch, then let it be a moment of stillness, a pause, a deep breath after years of running. Because maybe you spent your whole life searching for love, for peace, for meaning, for yourself. And maybe every video, every book, every teaching you've come across was never about giving you something new, but about guiding you back to something ancient, something already within you. Carl Jung believed that all searching is, in truth, a longing to return, not to a place, but to wholeness. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. For so long, fate might have felt like something outside you, the wrong people, the wrong timing, the same pain repeating in new forms. But the moment you began to look inward, you started to see it wasn't fate. It was a mirror. It was your unconscious speaking through the only language it knows, your life. The heartbreak that shattered you, it wasn't punishment. It was your soul asking, when will you stop abandoning yourself? The rejection that burned, it was life whispering. You keep looking for approval from others because you've forgotten your own. The loneliness that followed you like a shadow, that was your inner child reaching out, saying, don't leave me behind again. You see, every painful chapter of your life wasn't a wall. It was a doorway. And each doorway led you closer, not to a new version of yourself, but to the truth of who you've always been. Jung said that wholeness is not achieved by cutting off parts of yourself, but by integrating them. And maybe that's what your journey has really been about. Not becoming someone better, but becoming someone whole. You've faced your shadow, the parts of you that you were once too afraid to see. You've met your inner child, the one who felt unseen and unworthy. You've learned that the masks you wear, the strong one, the achiever, the caretaker, they weren't lies. They were protection. They were love, expressed in the only way you knew how to survive. But now, you're beginning to understand something deeper. You don't have to keep living in survival. You can live in awareness. You can live in peace. So take a moment, right here, right now, and breathe. Feel your chest rise and fall. That's life, happening through you, not to you. It's been waiting for you to stop running, to stop fixing, to stop proving, and to just come home. You've probably heard this before. You are not broken. But let me say it again, not as an idea, but as truth. You are not broken. You are remembering. You are remembering what it feels like to belong to yourself. You are remembering that peace is not something you find. It's something you allow. You are remembering that the light you've been searching for outside of you was never gone. It was simply covered by pain, shame, and silence. And when you stop trying to escape your darkness, you realize that it was never darkness at all, just light waiting to be seen. Maybe this is what healing really means. Not the end of pain, but the end of resistance to it. Not the absence of fear, but the courage to walk with it. Not perfection, but presence. So if this truly is the last video you ever need to watch, let it be the one that brings you back to yourself. Because the truth is, you don't need more advice, more answers, or more noise. You don't need to chase another idea of who you should be. You've done enough. You are enough. All that's left now is to listen. Listen to the quiet voice beneath the noise. The one that whispers, rest. You're safe now. That voice is not outside you, it's you. The self that Jung spoke about, the eternal, whole, and unshakable core of who you are. That self has been guiding you through every heartbreak, every failure, every rebirth. It has been there in your darkest nights and your brightest mornings. And it's still here, whispering softly. You've come far enough. You can finally stop searching. But don't mistake stop searching for stop growing. Growth will always happen. But now it won't come from fear or lack. It will come from love, from curiosity, from alignment, from peace. And when you begin to live from that place, life itself begins to feel different. You stop needing to be chosen because you've already chosen yourself. You stop chasing meaning because you start creating it. You stop asking, when will I be free? Because you finally understand that freedom isn't a destination. It's a space you create inside your own heart when you forgive yourself for being human. Maybe this video found you because you were ready to hear that. Maybe this is not the end, but the turning point. Because the real awakening is not dramatic. It's quiet. It's a moment you stop running from your pain and start holding it with love. That's when you realize everything you went through was not meant to break you. It was meant to wake you. So as this video comes to an end, I want you to sit for a moment in silence. Feel your heartbeat. That steady rhythm inside your chest. That's life reminding you, I'm still here. I never left. You don't have to chase your healing anymore. You're already in it. You're living it right now in this moment. And maybe that's all you ever needed to realize. If this message spoke to you, if something inside you feels a little lighter, a little clearer, then subscribe. Not because you need more answers, but because you're ready to keep remembering who you are. Stay with me, not to learn something new, but to remember what your soul already knows. And if this is the last video you ever need to watch, then let it be the one that helps you see. You were never searching for the light. You are the light. This might be the last video you need to watch, because from here on, the rest of the journey is within you.